Where were they? Cancun?
Right, it is 6:02 PM. We are calling this meeting to order. We do have a certification of a quorum. This time, I will join us for pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States, to the republic under God,
honor and respect to the flag.
I want to address the group that's here this evening before we pray. It does my heart good to see so many people come out to city council meetings. Wish this would happen every week and show interest and support. Thank you for being here. Let's bow our heads. Our Father in heaven, we come before you this evening and we know that this is stage front for you. You're watching what's going on here. You love this city. You have plans for this city, Father, that you plan for abundance and for prosperity for this city. And so this evening, we ask that you would just come and be in our midst, Father, as we have items that come before us as a city council. We have folks that are going to come and make some comments and so forth, that you would just give us all a sense of calmness, Father, and most importantly and above all, Father, that you would just help us as a council and as a city to make decisions based on the wisdom that comes from only you. We pray that you would just bless our citizens with health, with prosperity, abundance, and we ask this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right, at this time, we're going to move into item number 4. At this time, any person with city-related business not scheduled on the agenda may speak to the city council in compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. The city council is limited to making a statement of specific factual information in response to the inquiry or reciting existing policy, but may not discuss, deliberate, or take any action on any item. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes, and the issue may be placed on agenda for consideration. So, this time, we're going to start out with Mr. John Hancock.
I got a boot on my foot, so if you don't mind, I'll speak from here. My name is John Hancock. I live at 1003 Pecan Street here in El Campo. I'm glad to have such a big audience. I'm standing to compliment our local EMS department. These people are outstanding. A few weeks ago, my neighbor fell flat out on the floor, face down, of heart failure. The EMS got there. There was no sign of life. I watched them working on him for a good 5 minutes or so with all this fancy equipment that they have, pounding and pushing on his chest and giving him oxygen and injecting him with stuff. When they picked him up and took him outside the front door, he still had no sign of life. They put him in their ambulance, had 4 technicians in there working on him, and after about 5 minutes, they opened the door and said, "We've got a pulse now." But these guys pulled that off. They had a man that was basically dead, and they got him back to life. And when he got to Houston, to St. Luke's, those doctors were amazed day after day that we had an EMS department in El Campo that could treat that man and you bring him back to life. They're still amazed. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Hancock. And he is correct. We do got a wonderful EMS department. This time, Ms. Janet Hamilton, if you could come to the podium, state your name and address, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. My name is Janet Hamilton. I live at 1705 Sandy Corner, right across from the golf course, proudly in the city limits of El Campo. I am here to support the baby box item. I wanted to make sure that you guys knew that this is important, and I think we need to make sure that we're not being naive in saying that this is not needed in the city. I disagree with that. I think that what makes us different than any other small community anywhere else in the country. I'd also like to address item, I think it was 3.
Yes, ma'am.
I live on a piece of property that has 100 trees. And it is a pain to bundle limbs. We don't. And we don't even take them to the city dump. We're driving to Edna because of the expense and the hassle. So please consider that when you're discussing that item. And lastly, Courtney, I wanted to say thank you to your team. You guys have done an amazing job with the mosquito remediation. It has just been absolutely crazy, and you can see the difference. So thank you.
Thank you. James Griffin, you could have state your name and address.
I'm James Griffin, and I'm with Texas Disposal Systems, and my address is 402 Oak Glen, San Antonio, Texas. I just wanted to speak tonight in response to some public comments made 2 weeks ago. One of the largest customers for TDS and for the city in El Campo is Lido Cabinetry, and we consider them a great partner. We've been working with them for over 5 years now. I personally am in contact with them almost every day in some way or another, email, phone. But there was some information given at the last council meeting that was a little bit inaccurate, and I feel that it's necessary that I give you the correct information, the accurate information. There were some comparisons between the Lido in El Campo and the Lido in East Bernard, and that's like the old saying, that's comparing apples and oranges, because in El Campo, we have a contract, we're bound by that contract, our rates are in that contract, anybody can see them, and that's what we charge. We can't go above it, can't go below it, and they're very, very reasonable rates. In East Bernard, it's a free market, it's an open market. You can charge as much or as little as you can get by with, but one of the major differences in some of the costs is that it's 20 miles from East Bernard to the Needable landfill. It's 47 miles from here. So your cost for transportation for hauling is more than double. So it's very difficult to compare. So if TDS were in East Bernard, would be a completely different situation. The other thing that impacts this is that City of El Campo has a franchise fee, a very reasonable franchise fee. And so TDS on roll-offs and compactors collects that fee, but we remit it to the city. It doesn't go in our pocket. And so that makes a little bit of a difference because in East Bernard, they do not have a franchise fee. So one of the main things that came up that I wanted to correct was, and I'm going to come close to the numbers, but a comparison was made between the rates for disposal, and we're both talking about using the same landfill. The rate for disposal from GFL in East Bernard, I believe, was $30.50 per ton. And then it was said that the TDS fee was $70 per ton. That's pretty substantial. In fact, on your contract, the rate we charge per ton is $30.35, 15 cents less than them, and it's their landfill. And in fact, the $30.35 that we charge is substantially less than we pay at the landfill. So, thank you.
Thank you. John Healy.
Hello, John Ely, 208 West Hill G, with the unmowed yard that's now mowed. I'm here to speak about trash. I'm probably going off half-cocked here, but I've been a long-term recycler, and right now I'm having to haul my stuff, somewhere if I want to recycle it, hauling it to Horton or whatever. And I really wish that we could get back to recycling something here in the city in the roll-offs, either aluminum cans, paper, plastic bottles, whatever. I understand that, it's a little bit of a problem because I see it all the time. You put instructions out and they don't get followed, and then somebody has to go behind them and clean it up. But I really wish that y'all would consider having recycling here in El Campo so I don't have to. I mean, I don't mind going at my own expense sometimes, but I wish I didn't have to. So I wish y'all consider that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
All right, next one, Mr. Todd White.
Todd White, 208 Legends Way, here to talk about trash a little bit. Um, you know, the trash contract, I would like to see it go to a local vendor instead of TDS. I think our trash collection has gotten worse with TDS, the having to take care of brush and everything the way we have to now. The landfill's not manned that well. It's a little bit of a pain. Um, Cost on the commercial side actually went up when we went to TDS from the previous company, and I think what we need to look at is reducing cost. You know, um, I don't never have like this tough fee that's added to the invoice where we're paying a transportation user fee. Yes, it's only $3.25 per house and $8.75 commercial, but what's that really for? What's it benefit? And if the city's making money using our trash as a profit center to make some additional money, and it's based on percentage, I think you go with the lowest cost provider, and especially if that lowest cost provider is going to end up giving us some better services, because bundling leaves, bundling limbs, and everything is a royal pain. We didn't have to do that before. The other thing is I'd like to see it on a local vendor instead of some company that's over in San Antonio or someplace like that instead of here. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe that is all that we have for public comments. We're gonna have some more under the agenda items that are coming up, so, anybody else would have a public comment this time under this section, please feel free to speak up. Otherwise, we're gonna move on to, item 6.1. This, oh, I'm sorry. I jumped way up. So item 5.1, approval of city council regular meeting 2026, May 26, 2026 at 6 p.m. The whole consent agenda.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as is I presented.
I'll second.
We got a motion and a second for the approval of the consent agenda as presented. All in favor? Motion passes. All right, now getting to number 6. Item number 1. Discussion and consideration of installation of a safe haven baby box at the public safety building.
Mayor, is it your prerogative to hear the public comments, or would you like to open it up for us first?
I would like to let the public comments speak first.
Sir.
So at this time, we're going to call Mr. Chris Barbie.
Correct. You could call Judy, me, David Went, then Jay.
Amen.
And then Miss Smith.
Okay, Ms. Judy?
Good evening. My name is Judy Pitter, and I'm from El Campo, Texas, have been all my life. Was born at Nightingale Hospital. I'll tell you how old I am.
More than
Do
40?
y'all ever what was it?
That makes him over 40.
Hancock, you just pick. Do y'all ever watch Chicago Fire? It's one of my favorite shows on TV. I've watched this certain one the other night before, but the other night I watched, it was a rerun, of course. And it was about a baby, and then the alarm went off, and they all just screamed, "Safe Haven, the baby box." And they ran to it, and my heart was in my throat because I thought, how fortunate for them to be able to witness that and to take care of it and be prepared for it. And I mean, they are EMS, Emergency Medical Services, I believe. Well, as we've heard, look what they did the other night. Mr. Hancock addressed that. Anyway, I just can't imagine what that would feel like. Many of the babies, as we probably have said before, that are in those boxes and taken out of those boxes are adopted by the EMS workers, the firemen. It's just really a good thing on everybody's part. There's a whole bunch of people out there, young people that can't have children. My family went through this, and it was excruciating. It was mind-boggling what it did to the entire family when she could not get pregnant. And she did adopt. She did end up having twins. She did end up, very surprisingly, at age 40, having a baby on her own, which her doctor said would never happen, but it did. I've been working, and I did, and Mr. Hancock knows this because him and his sweet wife worked with me on CASA. We worked for over 10 years with CASA. And if that didn't teach me that this is needed, I don't know what would. I saw so many children, oh my goodness, that were neglected, so many women that were abused, so many young children having babies and not knowing what to do. We have that problem here in El Campo. You have it in every city in the United States. If there's people and there's children and there's kids and teenagers and men and women, you have that problem. You have it. We'd like to think, well, it affects people of a certain ethnicity. Don't do that. Don't judge. That poor girl that's 13, 14, 15, 16, maybe even a woman that has gotten pregnant from rape, maybe a woman that has had already 3 or 4 pregnancies, babies that she can't take care of. This is a good answer for them. And I know El Campo. I know El Campo so well.
Okay.
Thank you for
Thank you.
all of what y'all do.
All right, next, Mr. David Went. Right? Was it
Did you want to go?
Omar?
It's Omar Garcia, 723 Sandy Corner Road here in El Campo. And God has blessed my wife and I with 5 kids. Oldest is 20, youngest is 8. One's at All-Star practice right now. And so I do need to get back and help him. But I just wanted to share that I think the question was raised as we were visiting about this is how many potential candidates would use this baby box? We don't know the answer to that question. And if one child was placed in the baby box and we were able to rescue that life and God was able to redeem the broken pieces of that, it's well worth it, I believe, to make that investment. And so as a pastor, we want to love everyone that God has put before us. And if a mom, young or old, has the opportunity to save a child's life, and the community come alongside and say, we want to help support this. Our church is willing to come alongside and support financially, support with supplies, diapers, clothing for little ones. I think it's a great opportunity to share the love of Jesus with whoever's willing to be strong enough to say, I can't raise this child, but I don't want it to be put to death. So um, thank y'all for letting me share. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. Went, were you gonna get up? And folks, just to be clear, we're gonna stick to the 3 minutes, being the high volume of comments that we have. That's what we do all the time.
My name is David Nguyen. Speaking on behalf of myself and my wife Linda. Red shirt. I've been a lifelong rice bird all my life. I'm probably died a rice bird. When we were talking, Judy and Jane asked us, because they were taking Linda and I back and forth to Houston, what we thought about a safe harbor baby box. And, they explained what it was going on. And I told them, I said, El Campo has always been a giving community. And that we didn't see any problem with that. And the thing that concerns me is that, we live in a society now that they don't value life as much as they should. And that could be an unwanted pregnancy and just a multitude of different things. And I think we as a community are going to fail if we do not provide that alternative. And two, it doesn't cost the city any money. They've explained everything from the national organization, and it's just a great thing to have as an organization. And El Campo should be proud of what y'all are going and ready to do, and I pray that you do that. And that's all.
Thank you. Next up is Mr. Barbie.
Thank you, Mayor, City Manager, and Council. I'm here to speak in favor of the Safe Haven baby box. When Jane and Judy talked to me about it, I thought, what a great thing. And then they gave a program to the El Campo Rotary Club going into great detail. I said, this is a no-brainer. We not. As I understand it, there's no funds being requested of the city to provide this. If the money's not raised, then it doesn't happen. But the money, I feel certain, will be raised. City staff has, rightly so, brought up some pros and cons, or well, the city actually has only brought up cons. I'd like to address them. Possible traumatic impact on dispatchers. Really? If you were a dispatcher and you heard the alarm and you responded, would you be traumatized? I'd say praise the Lord that I was able to help save a baby and that I was the one on duty when it happened. Possible power failure. Maybe Jane will address that. I think that's covered. I mean, I think everything's covered in the program. There's 3 types of alarms on this thing. As I understand it, power failure isn't a problem. Effort of 911 response if the baby needs recovering. Mr. Hancock just pointed out perfectly. We have 911 response. I don't see that as a problem. Also, there's already a safe harbor law in place. Yes, safe harbor keeps, and Counselor correct me if I'm wrong, it keeps the mother from being prosecuted if she drops the baby off at a fire station, police station, or a hospital. It doesn't do anything to help take care of the baby. There's some things, let me see, I'm just gonna wrap it up by saying, if I was on council, I would not only be in favor of this, I would not only sit up here and raise my hand in favor of it, I would advocate for it. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Ms. Jane Smith?
My name is Jane Smith, and I'm from El Campo also. And she's my twin, so I was born over here too. Anyway, I wanted to clarify what the safe haven law is, or they call it sometimes the Moses law, or is it Moses, or I think it's Moses law, which is great. I'm glad we have it here in El Campo. I'm glad the picture is on the police department window. A mother has to physically, or a father can physically hand the baby to another person in that whole complex out there. They can then turn around and walk out with nothing left in their hand. Not a psychologist to get to, not a doctor to get to, not even trafficking information to get to, like the Safe Haven Baby law does. With the box, the Safe Haven Baby box. When they put a baby in that box, they have 60 seconds to get away from the time the door is opened. They can drive, walk, whatever they're doing. They take an orange bag. It has trafficking information in it, hotlines out the kazoo. It has a real live psychologist phone number that she can stay in contact with to try to get over what she's just done or help with her life. And not just one phone call. She can stay in there and they're on call 24/7, and so is a medical doctor. Can tell her what her body's going to go through, because these are a lot of times really young people. And they also have a lot of trafficking information in that orange bag. So they do walk away with something. There's lots of, I tried to get an orange bag so I could show y'all, but we have to put money down for that first. But tomorrow at 10 o'clock in Spring, Texas, they're blessing a baby box. As of the end of May, there's 445 baby boxes in the United States functioning. I don't have any stats, and I'd rather not even know those stats about the babies that were put in them. But I can tell you in 2025, we had 22 abandoned babies in the state of Texas. And not abandoned all in a good way. And so I just want to say thank you. I know y'all get tired of listening to Jane Smith, but I've fought for people my entire life that can't fight for themselves, and I don't intend to stop now. And I'm sorry if I've hurt anybody's feelings, but if you want some answers or information about protocol for safe haven baby boxes, I know more about that than everybody in here. And I'm still learning because I study every morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Mayor? If you'll indulge me, first of all, thank you all for coming. I'd like to echo the sentiment of Mr. Kovalance, the fact that we see so many interested community members. And Mayor Barbie, thank you for coming back and speaking your piece. I think that's great. I think there isn't a single staff member that disagrees with this cause. There's not a member of my staff that doesn't support the Safe Haven Baby. And Ms. Smith, I admire your diligence, your efforts, your persistence on coming here and trying to get answers for the question. But unfortunately, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear because that's not my job as the administrator of the city of El Campo. And I'm speaking on behalf of staff right now. Our concerns are many. You've heard them from my police chief. You will hear them from me tonight so the people in the room understand why we are requesting that you do not place this box at the public safety building. And most of this has been echoed by and answered by the people in the audience. The first thing is the law already exists. And there's a sticker outside of the entryway of the police station to allow people to make the drop if they need to. And so we are prepared for that, and we think that's a great initiative. So the safety, the anonymous aspect of this is going to be taken completely away if it's at our police station. We have cameras everywhere. When you built that building, you made sure it was secure and safe. And so the aspect of allowing these people to anonymously do that, which is the idea behind this program, is somewhat taken away and limited by the fact that on Thursday morning, Chief Marcarell and I walked around the area to determine where this box could be placed, should this be the desire of the council. And we couldn't find an ideal location. We looked at the lobby. Unfortunately, the lobby wasn't designed for that. Again, camera systems, the bulletproof glass to get in and out of the building. If we place it at the fire station, it is unmanned. So everyone in this room knows we do not have a full-time fire department. And many of these boxes are placed at fire departments, and that's because they're manned 100% of the time. Ours is not. And so there would be a reliance on our dispatchers. Our concern isn't the trauma to the dispatchers, it's that a dispatcher might not be able to take a call when they're en route to the box. And so that's the sentiment from us. Those are our concerns. We think this is a great program. We think El Campo needs it. We've encouraged her to reach out to the hospital. We'd like to work to protect the babies of El Campo. We definitely think there's a need. We acknowledge that. We just don't feel like, unfortunately, at this time, this building wasn't designed with that in mind, and our staffing can't support that. The other concern that we haven't talked about is the liability concern. We reached out to our insurance company because I know this is going to be on the forefront of your minds. And yes, we would be covered, but there's going to be a limit to how much you are covered, and that places that liability on the city's shoulders. And so there's a concern about that, at least from me. And so you've heard our police chief. He's come and spoke during public comments about this. I've supported his decision. I will continue to support his decision. I do think that there's value in this program. I'm just expressing staff's perspective here for the council's consideration, because we haven't been able to speak about this publicly because this has been in public comment, and that's the intent there.
Mayor, if I may. Of course, my name is Tom Publc. I just want to address the mayor, fellow council members, and citizens. And before I address the proposal itself, I would like to thank Ms. Jane Smith for her dedication and for appearing before council so many times, multiple times. At a previous meeting, Jane, you expressed concern that council had not responded to your presentations and wondered whether you had presented your case effectively. Well, I would like to state for the record that you did an incredible job. I know at the first meeting I even asked for an extension of your time because I know the heart that's behind what you're doing. And during public comments, of course, council members are generally limited to how we may respond. And that's the reason for our silence, and I would hope you would interpret that as a lack of concern or interest, okay? And myself, as someone who is strongly pro-life, I fully support efforts to protect newborn children, provide safe alternatives for parents facing difficult circumstances. I really believe that everyone involved here shares the same goals and the same sentiments. My concern is not with the intent of the program, but whether a safe haven baby box is needed in El Campo. While hundreds of these boxes have been installed across the country, the number of actual baby box surrenders remains relatively small. At the same time, Texas does have, we all know this, safe haven laws that allows infants to be legally surrendered at designated facilities such as hospitals, EMS stations, and fire departments. I believe it is reasonable to ask whether there is evidence of a local problem right here in our community that is not already being addressed. To date, I don't feel like I've seen the information demonstrating a need within El Campo or Wharton County that is not being addressed by what we currently have. I also have concerns, and I did read the pamphlet, and I understand, I feel like I did my due diligence. I have concerns about the loss of family, medical, and social history that can result from an anonymous surrender. the missed opportunity for medical care and counseling for a mother in crisis, and questions, of course, regarding operational responsibility and potential liability should a malfunction or unforeseen circumstance occur. And based on the information presented thus far, I do not believe a sufficient local need has been established or a deficiency of provisions, and I'm not yet comfortable that all questions regarding responsibilities and liabilities have been adequately answered. And I will say this, if future information demonstrates the local need that is not being met by our existing safe haven system, I will be the first one to reconsider the issue. But it's for these reasons, and with respect for the intentions behind this proposal, I am unable to support it at this time. My decision does not reflect the worthiness of protecting children, but rather my responsibility to make decisions based on demonstrated local need, available information, and the best interests of the citizens of El Campo. Thank you.
Mayor, I move to approve item 6.1 for further discussion, for purposes of further discussion.
Without further discussion?
No, with further, for
With
further
further-
discussion.
okay.
What, you need a second on it. Yeah. You got a motion on the floor.
I second the motion.
We got a motion and a second on the floor for approval for further discussion. Okay,
To be voted on.
got you. Okay,
If I can comment, Mayor, should I raise my hand? What do you want to do?
we got a motion and a second on the floor.
And I'd like to
Yes, sir.
discuss. I agree with what you said, Councilman Koblenz. I think it was very well said and very well thought out. I am very pro-baby. I have a daughter we adopted through Texas, through Catholic Charities in Houston. It was a fabulous program. My big concern about all of this is, and so anyway, I want to save every baby, but my big concern is the anonymity part of it. I don't see how we're going to wind up solving an anonymity problem in El Campo. I mean, right now, somebody could, if they wanted to, put on a mask, put on a hoodie, and walk into the lobby of our police department, sit a baby down, and walk out the door. Now, they're going to be photographed with all of the cameras all around that building. If they came around to the EMS side, they've got cameras everywhere. Nobody's going to ask them, I don't think, who they are or what they're doing. They can lay that baby down and go, and that baby will be well cared for in this community. But I don't know how the box program will provide any more anonymity than anybody could have if they just walked up. And I agree with what you say. Most of those boxes are along a city sidewalk at a police station, and you can walk up. A lot of people walk back and forth there. You can walk up, put a baby in the box, and keep on going. But we don't have that kind of situation at our hospital or our emergency services center. And I don't know where you would put it out there. I've had a tour of that building, not lately, but I don't think there is any place out there that where you could anonymously drop off a baby in a box. If I'm wrong, somebody explain it to me, but I just don't know how you would anonymously do that in El Campo. But I certainly am in favor of taking care of every baby that's born there or anywhere else that comes to El Campo. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Got a motion and a second on the floor.
To approve or disapprove?
It's two.
It's to approve.
Would anybody like to make a motion for take the vote of the installation of the Safe Haven baby box at the public safety building? All in favor? Raise your right hand. All opposed? Motion's denied. Moving on to item number 2.
Keep up the fight, Ms. Smith.
Provide public policy direction regarding inclusion of a proposed $1 monthly paper billing fee in the fiscal year 2026, 2027 utility rate structure for consideration during the required public hearing process with a proposed effective date of October 1st, 2026.
It's a bit wordy, so let me try to walk you through this. It costs us $1 right now to mail all paper bills, $1 each bill, approximately $1 each bill. And our position is we want to reduce the number of paper bills that go out. There's a lot of reasons for that, but the primary driver behind that is the fact that people aren't getting their bills. Brittany's had 81 bills that in the last 2 weeks that didn't go, right? Still haven't been through the system. We mailed them 2 weeks ago. And so we're having a lot of customers come in and say, I didn't get my bill. I didn't get my bill. And so the proposal here would be to allow everybody to have a paper bill, but if you want the paper bill, it'll be $1 more a month. Now, that said, earlier tonight you heard that we are going to be recommending a $3 increase in the fall. This dollar could come off of that. So that dollar would be reduced for the people that choose to go paperless. Otherwise, they would hold fast to that rate that we're recommending. And so there's an incentive. If you choose to have access to your bill online and you choose to receive emails, that is absolutely fine, and you will pay a reduced rate. But if you choose to get the paper bill, you will have that higher rate. We are modeling this after what other companies are doing. The banks specifically are also running into this issue, and we suspect that postage is going to go up. And so that's the nature behind this. Again, not forcing anyone to go paperless. You don't have to go paperless. This is just an option for them and would incentivize them to go paperless. This would not go into effect until October 1. We are going to be required to hold 2 public hearings should you elect to take on this proposal. This would come before you again. You'd have the 2 public hearings, and then you could choose to adopt this or not. I'm not asking you to adopt. I'm asking you to provide direction, meaning indicate to staff whether you want us to proceed with this or not, or if you need more time to think about that, that's okay too. We can do that too.
So are you proposing to give people $1 discount for, in October?
Effectively, that would be what it is.
Be charged $2 more instead of $3.
Correct.
I was wondering if there's a way we can exempt senior citizens, because I have a mother-in-law that don't own an iPhone or a computer.
Mr.
And there's lots of senior citizens that would, no way they can get an email. And then how can you prove they got the email? You said they come in all the time and say
Sure.
they didn't get their bill. The same thing can happen. I didn't get an email. Same thing can happen.
Mr. Hodges, this is the council's policy. We can write it however you'd like. We can amend this or adopt this however you would prefer us to do.
I would suggest
And we will
you
take
exempt
that.
senior citizens
You're not
because
referring
there's
to me, are
lots of senior citizens that are not computer savvy.
We understood
I
that.
think defining senior citizen would be important. I'm okay with a lot of it, and I've had the same thoughts.
Yeah.
But I would like to see numbers, how many we mail out versus how many we don't. And then I would want to define age because, it's not 55.
Right. I mean,
And that's something to go.
I don't
over with
consider
any-
myself computer savvy. I can work an email though. But there's a lot of people that can't.
Sure. We can bring all that back and include it as you provide direction. Again, not asking you to adopt right now.
I just want to bring that point up so that you can consider.
We're asking whether you're willing for us to include this in the budget and to move that direction. So,
Regardless of who can and can't receive them, there's still a cost to the city associated with mailing,
correct.
right? So regardless of who is going to or not going to receive them, the city's still gonna have to suck up some type of a cost. So if that's a cost on everybody, or if that's just a cost on certain people that do not get the paper bills, then we just have to take that into consideration. But at the end of the day, the city can't go backwards on this. They're gonna have to, I'm just speaking for that piece of it. I mean, at the end of the day, you're still gonna have to, the dollars have to work out. That's it. on the postage deal.
So you think we might as well wait till October?
I don't know. We'll just
We
see.
are-
Yeah.
We are
Look
waiting
at it.
till October.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you do have the public hearing requirement.
Right.
So we'll lump it in with the other fee increases, and that was the intent.
But at the end of the day, it's still cheaper if you don't have to mail it.
Exactly.
So.
So it's
needs
a big
some
win
kind of
for the
incentive.
department, right? If we don't have to mail it. Okay. You,
I think.
wanting an action on this?
Bring back with more information at a future meeting.
Sure.
Is that sufficient?
Yes, that's sufficient enough, I believe, right?
No action on it.
Yeah, no action on it. They will bring it back further at a later date. Moving on to item number 3, Resolution R 2026-23, authorizing a contract extension for solid waste collection and disposal services with Texas Disposal Systems, TDS, for an additional 3-year term, authorizing the city manager to execute all necessary documents and providing the effective date. We are gonna move in. We've got some public comments on that, so we're gonna start off, Ms. Ann Ramos.
Annabelle's gonna help me. Photos I wanted to share. Again, my name's Ann Ramos. I spoke last time. I work at 600 San Vicente Road. I live, I'm so sorry. I have a lot to say. I am a lot. I do
Ma'am,
apologize.
Could we have that where the camera can see it?
Yeah? Where do you
So
want
if
to
we
go?
have a lot of people watching on YouTube. Yeah. I don't mean just, but we do have people online trying to watch.
To reset her time.
See what she's holding up.
I would too.
Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry. Thank you. My goal in this conversation is not to advocate for any particular waste company, nor talk poorly about any other company that we may currently have. My goal is probably the same as everyone else's, right? Is to have good customer service, good service, and a reasonable rate, right? Again, I have a lot to say. So we've already talked a little bit. We had people come up here talk about complaints. This picture here shows an article from the newspaper 2 weeks ago before the city council meeting talking about the bad service that we've had in El Campo. So I don't want to begrudge that too much. We already know the issue with that. Hold on. So we did talk, there was a comment made earlier about our rates and the 8% franchise fee. Please know that whenever I'm talking about rates that we are getting here at Lido, I am not even considering the 8% fee. So that way we're talking apples to apples and comparing the right information. So as was said, we are obviously a large contributor to the waste that El Campo generates and of course that 8% franchise fee. So I would hope that given that amount, there is a little bit of weight taken into what I say. Meaning we have between 25 to 30 hauls of trash per month, anywhere between 150 to 200 tons per month, and then we have another 25 to 30 hauls of the dust per month. Obviously, that is very, very expensive. That being said, I am not good at math, but I do know that 8% of zero is still zero. If we have our waste costs spiraling out of control, continually, it only hurts our businesses. And if we continue to hurt our businesses, what does that do to El Campo? It runs them out of town. People get laid off. People have to move. We lose property taxes, et cetera, right? I don't want that to happen to anybody. So a little bit last time I talked about the waste bins that were not taken care of in a timely manner. So I want to show you. So here's an email I got last week talking about it's a better photo here. So it says that our boxes were identified to be a problem in 2024. They were supposed to do repairs by November 2025, and we got delivered by March of 2026. Flip it over. Unfortunately, that was probably a little bit off in full transparency. It was identified in 2024, decided to be fixed at the end of 2024, and delivered in March of 2025. That is still 5 months to get 3 bins. I got 6 in 30 days in East Bernard. The excuse was that's COVID. I'm sorry, it's 2026. It's not 2021 anymore. COVID is not an excuse for anything anymore. I do have some pictures I'm going to show so you can have a full understanding of what we deal with day in and day out. This is what we do every day.
We extend, I'd like to see the pictures.
We'll go ahead and extend.
So I talked about last week about how we have the bin. So that's one full bin. When I left Lido today, that same bin was full from today. That is a daily occurrence from what comes out of our boxes, what comes out of the process. And again, while it's a different city, the processes between EB and EC from a Lido standpoint are exactly the same. And I do not have this problem in East Bernard. I'm telling you guys this for a reason. It's not, again, to bash a certain company or the service, or it's not a personal thing. I do want the city to understand that this is not what we want. We want to do right by the city of El Campo. We want to do right by the citizens of El Campo, and we are fighting this day in and day out. Besides cost, it's a service issue. Lastly, it was brought up that I was incorrect in my points last time about cost. So I want to share. Oh, that being said, so we talked, I just said a few minutes ago, it took 5 months to get our bins, but according to the contract, if we have service complaints, they have 1 day to fix it, 1 business day to fix it. So that's what, for the 13 months, that's 450 days, that's what, 300 business days. So is that $100 fine per day, or is it per complaint? Does it get paid to the city or to the business? Because if that's $100 per day paid to the business, for a year and 13 months of whatever service, we need to have a conversation. That's a lot of money that we missed out on because I didn't know that there was a $100 fine for doing that. And then lastly, I did want to talk about the comment that I didn't know our proper rates. So in July of 2025, when I asked about compacting to have better service and customer service, these are my notes that I shared last week. $70 per ton, $699 per haul. And then if I signed a contract between 3 to 5 years, we had different rental rates for the compactor itself. So again, my question is, or my comment is, here's my email from 2025 showing those same exact rates. So I guess what I'm confused on is if El Campo has an exclusivity clause that companies are bound by for certain rates, why was I given rates astronomically higher than what the contract says? So again, I know I'm a lot. I know this is a lot. We are a hard business. Again, we're producing 200 tons per month. We have big plans to grow, to get bigger. To do that, I need to hire more El Campo employees, but to be able to do all that, I have to keep my waste costs under control. There's no way around it. That being said, I would like to ask for an exception to the exclusivity clause so we can find a company that will better suit our needs.
Okay, thank you.
And I appreciate the extra time.
We got 3 more. I didn't know if y'all wanted to go in a certain order, guys. I believe we got a Chris, a Michael, and Jim Jack. I don't know who wants to go first.
Shorter. I had it long, but I thought we had 5 minutes. Mr. Mayor,
State your
Councilmember,
name.
My name is Chris Hawes. I own Trust Waste Solutions. My wife and I started this company more than 10 years ago as a roll-off and construction cleanup business. As we listened to our customers and we saw repeated complaints about poor service from the larger providers, we just decided to expand into residential and commercial waste services about 5 years ago. In the last 5 years, we've seen tremendous growth. We service more than 5,000 residential customers and over 500 commercial accounts. Service from Boca Chica to Altair and Louise to Richmond. Currently hold municipal contracts with the city of East Bernard and Beasley. We operate hundreds of roll-off containers throughout the Wharton and surrounding counties. Despite our growth, our hearts remain right here in El Campo where it all began. Our children attend school here. Most of our employees live here. We eat here, shop here, and invest here. Whenever possible, we purchase locally. We buy fuel, tires, trucks, welding supplies, oils, lubricants, uniforms, hats, decals. We use local vendors from fabricators, repairers, towing, maintenance, windshields, paint services, accounting, legal services, and much more. We also believe in giving back to our community. Over the years, we have supported El Campo Little League programs, 5-Star Fair Fund, supported fire and police departments, Toys for Tots, Truckers for Tots, Prairie Days, Casa for Kids, Wharton County Youth Fair. We may not be a $100 million corporation, but we are a local company built on service, accountability, and trust. And what we lack in corporate size, we more than make up for in community investment and community growth. When residents spend money with locally owned businesses, a significant portion of that money stays right here in the community, supporting local jobs, local families, local businesses. Economic studies consistently show that locally owned businesses return far more dollars to the local economy than large corporations whose profits are sent elsewhere. That difference can represent millions of dollars recirculating through this community over the lifetime of an agreement. Those dollars support employment, generate additional business activity, and strengthen the community we all share. My question tonight is simple. If supporting locally owned businesses and keeping money in the El Campo community are values we all agree on, why not give a locally owned business a fair opportunity to compete and serve the citizens of El Campo?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well said.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next one. Michael?
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Michael Giampietro, and I'm the sales manager for GFL Environmental. I'd like to keep it brief, given the time constraints. So let me start by saying that we completely understand and respect that the city has an existing relationship with the current trash hauler. We obviously believe that the city, the residents, and the local businesses of El Campo would benefit greatly by partnering with our company. I only have time to express two quick reasons. The first is that we would provide curbside bulk pickup every week, not one time per month. We know that by doing that, it would significantly improve the street appeal, cleanliness, and overall aesthetics of the city. Another reason is that GFL owns and operates the Fort Bend landfill in Needville, which is where El Campo's trash is currently being disposed of. In short, you would be partnering with the hauler, who is already taking every ounce of trash from the city, thereby eliminating the middleman. That includes brush, that includes recycling. What would truly allow our company, as well as the current vendor and other competitors, the greatest opportunity to make their case for why they would be the best partner for the city is to put out a formal request for proposal, giving us all a chance to present our options, offer solutions, differentiate ourselves, and break down our proposed pricing, which would, of course, allow for all of you to make the most well-informed decision. That very RFP process is what allowed GFL to be awarded the exclusive contracts for the cities of Needville, Wharton, Eagle Lake, Bay City, Missouri City, Stafford, Richmond, and Rosenberg, among many others. For the betterment of this city, we hope that is exactly what the board ultimately decides to do for a more efficient, cleaner, and even more beautiful El Campo. Thank you all again for the opportunity to speak. God bless you.
Thank you. Next, Jim Jack Phillips.
Mayor, council, city staff, thank you for allowing us to all speak today. My name is Jim Jack Phillips. I live at 1304 West North Street. I'm here representing Trust Waste Solutions. local company that probably serves the community throughout our areas. That includes iMud of Ocampo, City of Beasley, East Bernard, all of our rural customers, and small towns across Wharton County. I'm here tonight because I believe the City of Ocampo should have the opportunity to evaluate all available options. At the last meeting, there was a discussion about allowing the full council to review the proposals and whether the city should move forward with the extension or to open up for a competitive process. Competition's good in Ocampo, especially for the citizens of Ocampo. It creates accountability where it needs to be, encourages better service, and to ensure the city is receiving the best values for its residents. Trust Waste Solutions is ready and capable of serving this community. By the community, we have the personnel, by the commitment, and we're also been a dependable residential waste collection while maintaining a high level of customer service. As a local company, as it said before, we also offer something that cannot be measured on just a simple spreadsheet. When local businesses succeed, local dollars, they stay here in the community. Those dollars help support local jobs, local families, and the local economy. The people answering the phones, operating the trucks, checking in on customers, managing the customers, responding to the customers' concerns, they're your neighbor and fellow in the community. We're asking for the opportunity to earn your business through a competitive process. If there's an opportunity to provide our hometown service that exceeds current service or reliability, the citizens deserve to see that comparison. Before, I mentioned that we're from here. We eat here. Most importantly, our kids go to school here. Most of us. A lot of us. So I respectfully ask the council to open the process and allow all qualified companies the opportunity to submit proposals, including those that call Campo home. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I believe that's all the public comments we had. That's on a different item, agenda item. Come on up. Yes, sir. About that.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name's Quattro Strock. We all know each other. I operate J4 Waterworks and J4 Fencing and Services here in Wharton County, and I'm here today to offer my support that we need to open up the trash contract, and my support would go with Trust Waste Solutions. I've been a customer of TWS at multiple locations, and I can tell you firsthand that Chris Halls and his team has been reliable, professional, and consistent. They show up when they're supposed to, they handle their business without any issues, and whenever I've needed anything addressed, they got it taken care of. And that's what you want in a service provider, and that's exactly what TWS delivers. I also want to point out, and I think it matters to this community, that Chris is one of us, born and raised in Wharton County, and is an out-of-town company sending trucks through town and sending profits somewhere else. The money you spend with TWS stays here. It supports local families, local employees, and local owners that generally care about this area. Chris and his team don't just do business here, they invest here. They support local events, local churches, and local causes. That's the kind of community commitment that is something you don't always find, and it's something worth recognizing when you're making a decision like this one. I'd like to ask the council to give serious consideration to reviewing a proposal from TWS, and you'll be getting quality service and keeping your tax dollars right here at home.
Thank you. That's all the public comments we had at this time.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion. We do not extend the contract 3 years, and we put it out for new proposals. If I get a second, I'll be happy to explain why during discussion.
Second.
the authorizing your motion to deny the resolution?
Yes.
Deny the resolution, okay.
And
We got a motion and a second on the floor to deny Resolution R 2026-23.
The reasons I'm stating this, not only I'll just go by, I asked, last meeting, we were asked to approve the extension without me seeing any of this. And I asked that the whole council be able to see the proposals that were sent to us. I'm not gonna discuss any numbers or anything like that because I think that would be unfair to the people that might make a formal proposal. But I will say that the current company we had came in last place out of 3 people in almost all three of these. So I think it's totally justified that we send this out for new proposals and see what we can do. And one of the main things I liked on the other companies was the weekly pickup of brush instead of monthly, and the weekly pickup bulk instead of monthly. Also on the carts, the poly carts, one company said that we could fill the poly cart and put a bag on top of it. We can't do that with the current company we have right now. And as far as another thing I liked is their rear loading trucks. They're not going to tear up our streets near as much as these great big old trucks do. But when we fix a street, as soon as these big trucks come down it, they're tearing it up. So if we can go to the rear loading trucks, they're all smaller, right? Is that correct? Well, in my opinion, I think that, and a main selling point that I liked is our current company has the landfill open 2.5 days a week. We got a informal deal where they would be open 4.5 days a week. That's much better for our citizens. So that's the reasoning I think we should deny this contract and put it out for a formal proposals.
May I ask a question? What is the time frame for, I missed the last meeting, I'm sorry, but what is the time frame for this contract and for the renewal of it?
The contract expires at the end of the fiscal year, which is September 30th of this year.
You have till September 30th.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But if you switch vendors, if you switch contractors, they need time to mobilize and order equipment. So the decisions need to be made quickly.
Yeah.
In response to that, what could be, we think, the turnaround time associated with if we were to put this back out for bids? And what would the turnaround time be, you think, for that? And I know it's a hard question to answer, but I don't know, are we talking 3 weeks?
No,
Talking
you're
2 weeks?
You're talking longer.
Okay, okay.
There's publishing requirements.
That's fair.
Unfortunately for us. And so there would be time to do that. And then you have to develop a contract. That is what takes so long, is the contract.
If it's,
Yes, if
I think Renee could answer.
if you don't mind, our assistant city manager's
Okay.
been doing
That'd be
all the
great.
heavy lifting on this one.
that'd be great.
Yeah, definitely. It would, I mean, time is of the essence now. An RFP is, be pretty close to impossible. That's why the information that we have before us, the information that we presented to you, you can base a decision on that. There is no requirement that we do an RFP. According to local Texas government code, you can, solid waste is exempt from the RFP process. And so, one of the things that the committee wanted us to do was, in order to make an informed decision, is to go out and gather this information and do some homework. And that's what we did. There was another provider that submitted information as well, but they, at the last minute, they decided they just didn't have enough capital for this year to continue the process. So there was a fourth one. But anyway, yes, an RFP is really, it's not necessary, it's not required by law. And we feel that there should be sufficient information. They did submit proposals, and there should be sufficient information in there to make, in order for you to make an informed decision.
I have a comment, some observation as well. First of all, I am excited that we have an up-and-coming company here in our community to take care of trash services. The last thing I would want to do is to approve, well, first of all, we would I guess, have a company come in who is growing and will one day be a big company, but I don't have anything in front of me that tells me that they're capable of, they're already taking care of a lot of other businesses and hopefully have satisfied customers. But do I know how many trucks are running in town right now? Are those many, are that many trucks available to take care of our trash services?
Excuse me.
I think we're
We're not voting on a company, we're only voting on this resolution to.
Okay,
We're not
gotcha,
voting on a
gotcha.
company. I'm sorry, but.
But
We
you
got a
brought up all,
motion- We got a motion, and a second on the floor. Blake Barger.
We're only voting on to.
but didn't you bring up,
Deny the resolution.
stuff about different companies?
Bring
So we got it.
Okay. Okay, I apologize if I'm speaking out of turn.
It's either to deny or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is just to deny.
We got a motion and a floor. We got a motion and a second on the floor for Resolution R 2026-23 to deny the contract extension for solid waste collection and disposal services with Texas Disposal Systems for 3 years, so. Nate?
Yeah, I think you still have discussion on it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify one more thing because, I mean, I think it's important to say this because of the fact that it is listed on the agenda as a recommendation to extend. And I just want everybody to understand one thing is that with regard to TDS's services, anytime we had an issue, anytime we had a problem, we collaborated with James and the problem was resolved within 24 hours. If there were problems at Lido, if there were problems that I was unaware of those problems. I think she called at one point a couple years ago about the rates, and we referred her to James to talk about that, and they've been in communication about that. But any other issues I was unaware of at Lido. If there were some dust, I worked in that industry for 13 years, and what the pictures that you showed me were commonplace. I saw that all the time. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. I just wanted to clarify that. James, we've worked together hand in hand. Every time there was a problem, he provided 6 viewing angles of the truck going by somebody's residence. I can request those at any time. If there's a dispute about whether or not there was trash on the ground, whether or not the truck driver missed somebody, we have liquidated damages in the contract. We've never had to invoke those because they've resolved the problems quickly within 24 hours. There was never, so we've never had an issue with TDS resolving problems. They've always done so. They've complied with the contract terms. They've been willing to amend the contract if necessary, that we have done that in the past, because I think initially there were some discrepancies and we've amended the contract. I just wanted to make sure and clarify that so that everybody understands those things. Because we wouldn't, if I felt like those things were true, I wouldn't feel good about recommending an extension of 3 years for TDS. As far as the complaints and things like that, if I felt like those things were valid, because I feel like they've resolved every issue quickly, without any concerns or any arguments or anything like that. They just resolved it, and they provided information that we needed, like camera footage. So. I think the rates are very competitive. I don't think they're really one-sided one way or another, but hope that clarifies some things.
All right, we got a motion and a second on the floor for Resolution R 2026-23 to deny the contract extension for solid waste collection and disposal services with Texas Disposal Systems, TDS. All in favor of that motion? All opposed? Motion passes to deny the extension.
Can I bring up one item about this item? I don't understand why we want to extend the contract for 3 years without renegotiating some of our questions about it. I would think that it'd be nice if we could spend a little bit of time talking about our suggested changes to that operation, and so we could at least be discussing that with this contractor and others,
A workshop? Sure.
something like that.
We can have a workshop.
We better do it
Discuss.
quick.
Yep. All right, moving on to item number 4. Resolution R 2026-30, authorizing the purchase and installation of 2 progressive cavity pumps for the wastewater treatment plant facility from Coastal Pump Services for $116,754.
Okay, this item is exactly what he just read. The 2 current pumps have a life expectancy of 15 years. They're 18 years old. And they have been in continuous operation, removing 30 to 40 cubic yards daily of sludge. So this is at the treatment plant since 2008. So maintenance has become a real nightmare in the last few years because obviously these have passed their useful life. This is part of the TCEQ compliance process. And so these pumps, if we purchase them, if you authorize the purchase of this, they will stay good for 15 to 20 years. And they will aid with the repairs we're having done at the wastewater treatment plant.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve Resolution 2026-30.
I'll second.
We got a motion and a second for the approval of Resolution R 2026-30. All in favor? Motion passes. Moving on to item number 5, Resolution R 2026-31, requesting financial assistance from the Texas Water Development Board and authorizing the filing of an application for assistance and making certain findings in connection therewith.
Yeah, this is another grant application. You will see these from us all the time, I think. This is for $17.35 million from the Texas Water Development Board. Included in your packet is the plan of the lines we intend to replace if we receive funding. This is the application. At the last meeting, you awarded the engineering and the grant administration. So this is the resolution authorizing the application.
Second.
Got a motion and a second on the floor for the approval of Resolution R 2026-31 as presented. All in favor? Motion passes. This time, we will be going into closed executive session. It's 7:20.
Is that a record for the most health?
Mm-mm. Sure. Yeah, yeah.
Judge.
All right, at this time, we are coming out of closed session, going back into regular session, and no action to be taken, and this meeting is adjourned. Appreciate the email.
Okay, nice to meet you.
He might have.